So in shadow work, we talk about parts a lot. Talk about facing parts, integrating parts, learning the lessons of parts, processing parts, all that sort of shit. But what really even is a part? How do they form? Where do they come from? What do they do? What's their purpose? What's a part versus what's intuition? How do you know when you're talking to a part? All that sort of shit. There's all these questions that a lot of people have that I never, for some reason, thought to answer. So today I'm actually going to go through and answer these questions, teach you all about what parts are, how they actually work, how to differentiate them from intuition, and all that sort of good shit. So let's get into it. The first question is obviously, what is a part? And a part is any part of you. Right? Like a lot of time when people ask what is a part, they're asking this because they want to know the difference between parts and intuition, parts and whatever, right? And in my personal opinion and experience, that question really doesn't matter, because anytime you're ever dealing with anything inside of you, it's going to be a part, right? And your intuition is just another part of you. It's just the part of you that is intuitive. There are parts of you that are logical, there are parts of you that are strong. There are parts of you that are intuitive. There are parts of you that are soft. There are different parts of you for every single aspect of your reality. If there is a time in which you are required to be soft, there are softer parts of you that are capable of doing that. If you are in a situation that requires you to be tough, there are tougher parts of you that are capable of doing that. If there are situations that require you to be logical and strategic, there are parts of you that can do that. If you find yourself in a situation that requires you to be intuitive and sense your environment because shit's a little bit shady, there are parts of you that can do that. So if you're asking what is a part so that you can decide which one to listen to and which one to ignore, you're asking the entirely wrong question. Because the answer is you listen to all of them and ignore none of them, because they all have essential skills to give you. If, like, I'm an entrepreneur, right? So it's real easy to think that all I need is the strong parts of me that are capable of moving forward. All I need are the parts of me that can build my business and make money and do all the things, right? But actually, if I don't have the softer parts, I won't really be there for my clients. They'll just tell me stuff and all I'll be able to do is bark harshness at them. I won't actually be able to feel the softness. I won't be able to have any empathy or compassion for what they're going through. I won't have felt through those parts of my personality, right? So it's just the different aspects that make you a human being, and there is a part that corresponds to every single aspect of your reality. Every person you know, there is a part or part of you that relates to that person. Every concept in the world, money, fame, security, happiness, love, there are parts of you that relate to all of those different concepts. And the health of those relationships to those people or the health of those concepts are entirely dependent on the health of the parts of you that relate to those things, right? And so if you're asking what is a part, pretty much anytime you ever think anything, there will be some part of you that is thinking that. So there's no real time in the shadow integration experience where you say, oh, that's a part, I don't have to listen to that, or that's a part, but they're all parts. It's just one part of you is intuitive, one part of you is strategic, one part of you is whatever. And the whole idea is to get all of these different parts of your personality working in unison, working together as a whole. So the parts of you that are soft are able to inform the parts of you that are strong of what they should take into consideration. And the parts of you that are soft can help nurture the parts of you that are strong so they don't have to live in a fucking battlefield all the time. We have absolutely essential elements of our personalities that can fit into every situation we will ever find ourselves in. The question is, how well integrated are those parts? How well are we integrated so that we can face whatever we need to and allow whatever part of us that is in charge of controlling that thing? Is that part of us healthy? Do we like that part of us? Do we know what it's trying to do? Can we guide it intelligently, or is it operating unconsciously, right? And this is where we get into the shadow. Because another question that I get a lot is like, what's a shadow? And it's like, who cares? It doesn't fucking matter. There's either a part of you that is creating good things for you, or there's a part of you that is creating bad things for you. If a part of you is creating good things for you, don't fucking worry about it. It doesn't matter. Just let it keep creating good things for you. Or if a part of you is not necessarily really doing much at all, like if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Don't worry about it. The only time I ever really worry about the shadow is if some part of me is getting in the way of being what I want to be. Then I look at it. I'm like, okay, cool. I've decided who I want to be. I've decided where I want to go, but this part of me doesn't want to go there. This part of me gets in my way. This parts of me get freaked out. So it's like, okay, why? Why is part of me opposing that which I desire most? I've got good reasons. Why? What am I afraid of? What do I think is going to happen? So that's the only time you really ever need to worry about the shadow, is if some part of you is getting in the way of that which you want to do. Like the technical definition of the shadow is like every part of you that you've consciously thrown away. But people get all into the weeds, is like, oh, is that a shadow or is that just like this other thing? And it's like, that's just the wrong way to look at it. If you're looking at it that way, you're probably a perfectionist and are afraid of getting things wrong. And so don't worry about all that sort of shit. Just worry about, is this part of me healthy? Is this part of me creating things in my life that I like? Or is this part of me creating things that I don't like? If it's creating things that you don't like, then just figure out why. It's got reasons. Now we're going to get into like, okay, I've identified that there's a part of me creating things that I don't like. It's like, well, how do I talk to that part? What do I fucking do? How do I talk to a part? It's like, okay, that's a pretty damn good question. And I've explained this in a video that I made a couple weeks ago, so we'll have a link to that. But the short version is, let's say you have a part of you that, I don't know, like screws up your relationships and makes you feel like an asshole, right? You can bet that that part of you wants you to feel like an asshole because it makes you feel like an asshole. If it wanted you to feel like something else, it would make you feel like that. But the fact that it makes you feel like an asshole means that's what it wants to feel like, and that's probably what it believes itself to be, because beliefs are self-fulfilling and self-substantiating and circular. So if you believe you're an asshole, the part of you that believes you're an asshole is the same part of you that will make you do things that make you feel like an asshole. They're circular. So if you want to find the part, all you have to do is figure out the way that it makes you feel and then find that feeling in your body. And you can use this with words. When I'm on a client and they're like, oh, you know, like I'm afraid of being an asshole. So I'm like, okay, great, cool. Say the words, I am an asshole. And tell me what you feel in your body and where you feel it. And when you find where the belief of I'm an asshole or I'm unlovable or whatever this part of you believes, when you find that belief, that's where the part is. It's going to be somewhere in your body, throat, chest, back, neck, whatever. And that's when you find where it lives in your body, that's essentially what you talk to. You found where it lives, and so you just kind of hold it, and you're like, hey, little buddy, you're the part of me that believes I suck. Why do you believe that I suck? And so you just kind of want to just hold it with your awareness, right? It's like, I know that you're there, and there is a degree to which I can be aware of you that you're okay with. And there is a degree to which I can be aware of you that makes you uncomfortable, right? Like if there's somebody new in your life that you don't really know all that well and you're not really sure, you might be fine if they're over there, but if they're like right fucking here, it's a little too close. Same deal. So you talk to the part and you go, okay, how close can I be to you before you start to get all wigged out and don't want me near you? Figure out that space and you're like, cool, I can hold you back here. Great, cool. So you just kind of hang out there. And then as you hang out there, then you start asking questions and learning and doing the whole thing. And then the part tells you what it's worried about. And then as you find out what it's worried about, you just take care of those concerns. And I know this is abstract, so I'll give you some examples from my own personal life. I was the guy that actually pushed people away because I thought I was an asshole and I wanted to feel like an asshole. So that was actually an example from my life. And so what I had to do was be like, okay, guy, where do you live? And this guy actually lived in like my right hip, oddly enough. And so I had to put my attention on my right hip and just be aware of it and be like, okay, I see you there. You're the guy that says I'm an asshole. Like, cool. Hey, bud, good to see you. And so you have to be like, it's okay for you to want me to feel like I'm an asshole. It's fine. It's okay that you want that. I know you have your reasons. I'm sorry I told you that that was the right thing to do. I have better ideas. I think I can protect us in better ways. I think I can guide us in better ways. So I'm just going to love you, let you do whatever you need to do. And eventually you'll tell me what it is you're really worried about. And then I will take care of that thing. Right. And I was afraid of I thought I was an asshole because I thought I was responsible for my dad's death because I didn't save him at 7, right? Which is how kids think. It's fucked up. But my way out of that was like, oh, dude, that wasn't your fault. Like, I know you think it was your fault and I know it was really scary and hard for you, but trust me, that was not your fault. There's nothing you could have done. And eventually that part of me trusts me because I'm so loving with it and I'm so kind with it and I'm consistent that eventually it's like, yeah, maybe this guy's not so bad. Maybe the person who shoved me into this deep, dark corner and told me that I was an asshole and I suck for the rest of my life, maybe this person is actually trustworthy. Maybe I can open up to this person. And then as that starts to be communicated, you start to learn more about what that part needs from you, what it wants from you, how you can take care of it, and then you just start employing all that sort of shit. Basically, what we're talking about is they're all parts. There is nothing that can happen inside of you that isn't governed by some part of you. It's just a matter of whether or not that part is healthy or not. And if you follow the integrated framework, as I've outlined, you can turn any part of you that is unhealthy into healthy. Just like those videos you've probably seen of like some kind of animal that's like neglected and abused and it's rabid and all angry and shit and it just sucks. And then some like sweet old man picks it up and it's like gives it some space, gives it some food, gives it some love. A few months later, damn thing's unrecognizable and it's this sweet, loving, wonderful puppy. Same thing with all the parts of us. If you treat yourself that way, they will become healthy. It's just a matter of developing the patience and capacity to love something that probably hates you and probably has caused you a lot of pain in your life and probably makes you feel ways you really don't want to feel. So it's a challenge for sure, but it does work, and it works consistently always. So now the next question a lot of people have is like, okay, well, what's me? If it's all parts, then what the fuck am I? And it's like, well, that's a pretty good question. And the answer is you are that which programs and reprograms the parts, right? Because if you can be aware of it, it's not you, but it's part of you, right? So all of your parts, the healthy ones, the unhealthy ones, all of them, they're just doing what you told them to do. That's all they're capable of doing. Your mind is not really capable of doing stuff you didn't tell it to do, right? I told my mind to tell me that I'm an asshole so that I didn't accidentally like hurt someone else. It's like if you tell yourself you're an asshole, you will stay in this small little thing and you will not have that much impact in the world, and your assholeness will not be able to mess things up. So it's like, cool, tell yourself you're an asshole, stay small. Great, wonderful, fantastic. You are not your parts. You are that which programs them to the same degree that you are not your fingers. You are that which moves them. You are that which tells them what to do. Your fingers are part of you. Your body is all unique, different parts of you, but they are not you. You are that which tells them what to do. You are that which programs them. And you are that which reprograms them. Everything that you do right now, you're doing because some younger version of you told you that was the best thing to do. I told myself when I was a little kid, oh my God, you did something terrible. If you tell yourself that you're an asshole, you will no longer do things and therefore can't mess up the world anymore, right? That was why I did what I did. And so they all have their own little reasons. You programmed them to do whatever it is they're doing. So all you have to do is know, okay, I am that which programmed you guys, and I am that which can reprogram you guys. I am that which told you to suffer, therefore I am that which that can love and nurture you back to health. So if you can see a thing, it's not you, but it's part of you. A lot of people fall into the trap of like, I actually just coached a woman about this the other day, where a lot of people like believe their thoughts, you know, because it makes sense to believe your thoughts. You created those beliefs because you thought they were true, so of course you believe them. But as you get into adulthood, you start to see the problem with those beliefs and all the ways in which they're steering you wrong, but you still believe them. So that can be kind of a tricky thing. But just know that you believe them because you think you need to, right? Like I believed I was an asshole because it was like, holy shit, I'm bad. I don't want anything that bad to ever happen again. As a kid, I think telling myself I'm an asshole is a way to make sure nothing like that ever happens again. And so it's like you got to work with your own reasons for why you did these things and understand that there's a way out. And it's like, okay, I programmed you to think that. Why did I program you to think that? What was I thinking? What must I have been going through to think that that was the best thing to think? Why did I program you that way? And what do you need from me in order to let go of that programming? Because I programmed that when I was young and ignorant and scared, and I didn't know things. I know a lot more now, but this part of me isn't going to let go because of all the fear and pain and whatever. So what can I give this part of me? How can I relate to it? How can I help it feel safe enough to know that even though I programmed it incorrectly before and shoved it into a deep, dark corner every day, that I am now someone who's willing to take responsibility. I'm now someone that sees the errors of my ways. I'm now someone who's willing to make amends with these parts of myself that I damaged. I'm now someone who's willing to understand how I can build a bridge and actually cross it and reconnect with these parts of myself and learn about who they are and what they need from me and actually give it to them. And when you step into that kind of attitude, you will soften any part of you. Eventually, they will learn that you are sincere and that you really do mean it and they can actually trust you. They open up, they tell you why they're doing what they're doing, and then you just say, fuck, dude, I'm sorry. I don't know why I thought that was a good idea. Apparently I did. I'm sorry. I love you. I have a better plan. You know, like the degree to which you trust me, let's go to this new thing and I will continue to build my trust so we can keep going in this direction. And so that's basically how you kind of work with the parts. And so if you're asking yourself, what is a part? Don't worry about it. If it's happening in your head, some part of you created it. If it's happening in your body, some part of you created it. Maybe it's the intuitive part of you. Maybe it's the logistical part of you. Maybe it's the scared part of you. Maybe it's the strong part of you. Who knows? There's parts that do everything and you want to listen to all of them. Scared parts need the strong parts. Weak parts need the whatever. Everybody needs everybody. And so if you're in this question, know that they're all worthy of listening to. They all matter. They all have important lessons. It's just a matter of understanding how they all fit together and create the whole of you. Because like I said before, You want fear. If we didn't have fear, we would be reckless. We would do stupid things. We'd get ourselves in trouble. We'd get ourselves killed. We need fear. We need shame. Without shame, we'd all be fucking psychopaths. Like, we need these things to keep us in line. We have like a rule book and a conscience and parts of us that tell us how to live in harmony with the world around us, and they're all fucking essential. So if you want real wholeness, and if you really want to love all of that you are, listen to all of you. Know that even the most dysfunctional parts of you have something they're trying to accomplish. And ultimately what they're trying to accomplish is good, even if the way they're trying to accomplish it is bad. And try and help them find a better way to do that shit. Because every single part of you is valuable. Every part of you matters. And you don't want to fall into the trap of picking one part of you over another, because that's just this bullshit hierarchy that doesn't exist. They're all essential. They all matter. And as you integrate more, you get more information to help you understand the world around you. The intuitive parts will be feeding you sensations and different intuitions. The logistical parts of you will be feeding you logic and strategy, and you can get a really clear view of everything that you're looking at. The parts of you that are afraid will tell you when it's like, oh, that dude's not quite right. Like, look at that look in his eye. That's kind of scary. Or like the parts of you that are strong will be like, oh, I bet you there's an opportunity over there. I bet you we could go do that shit. So you need all of it. And so integrate all of it, listen to all of it. And also, I guess just to talk on this for a moment, there's a lot of people that, because this comes from a lot of like Eastern spirituality where people are like, oh, don't listen to the ego, listen to the Atman or the heart or the spirit or whatever. And in my framework, that's all bullshit. In my framework, I don't fuck with any of that. Because it's like, you're going to need your ego to do anything. Like anybody who ever wrote a book on spirituality, guess who wrote it? Fucking ego. You can't get away from it. But you can calibrate it to be in alignment with your soul and with your heart and with your values and everything that matters to you. So I don't suggest you ignore anything, because anything that you ignore is just going to get sick, and then you're just going to have to go and integrate it later when it's sick. So just listen to all of it. Don't ignore any of it. Don't create a bullshit hierarchy. If there are parts of you that you like more than the other, you just don't understand the value of the one you don't like very much. Which reminds me of a Carl Jung quote, which is that what you need most will be where you least want to look. And so this highlights that even more. The parts of yourself that you really don't like, those are the ones you need the most, right? Like people pleasers, right? They really don't like their selfish side. They don't really like the side of them that's capable of hurting people, but that's what they fucking need. They need a little selfishness. They need a part of them that can say like, I don't want to do that. That hurts. I'm not doing that. I want to go do this other thing instead. But that's the part of them they disown. And a lot of times, like I know people that have become really successful at the expense of their emotions, and then their relationships fall apart. It's like, well, yeah, no shit. And they don't want to look at their emotions because they think it's going to like soften their edge and make them less successful. And it's like, yeah, okay, maybe a little bit, but it's like, bro, look what you're leaving on the table. Like your wife hates you. Like, come on, dude. Like, so it's like all these things you don't want to look at are governing elements of your reality that are essential. So you don't want to fall into the trap of picking one over the other or any of that bullshit. You need it all. And if there's some part of you you're having a hard time finding the wisdom for, then it probably just means that that part of you is really important and you're really scared of it and really got to get to know it and understand the value of it. And so if you need help with this, I have a free Discord channel where you can come in and ask me questions about any of this, and I will coach you. I'm in there every day coaching people about all this sort of shit. There's going to be a link to it below. If you want to come in, feel free to come and join. I've also got a free shadow integration intro course if you want to get a better idea of how to do all this sort of stuff. There's a journal in there. There's a glossary of terms to help you understand more of the concepts. And yeah, there's just a bunch of free resources I want to give you to make sure that you're armed and capable of doing all this and leading the best life you possibly can. But also, if you have more questions, I can also just make more videos about them, whatever the fuck you want. So let me know. But I'm Chris Orozco. I love you, and I'll see you next time.